All right, Rob, there was an imagined quarterback controversy started by none other than Jerry Jones.
Right.
And I guess he got what he wanted. I mean, obviously, he got the wins. They went 4-1 without Dak, so that was good. But I just think he got what he wanted, Rob, in that it kept the Cowboys very much in the news, very much front and center. And so, he started it. But some fans and even a few commentators, Rob, I saw really bought into it, like ex-players, a couple, not most, but
Chris,
some.
We talked about this on Thursday before I took off, Friday to go to, right? We talked about the perfect scenario for Dak, didn't we?
And that was it. I mean, I think perfect maybe could they have won and Cooper played poorly?
Yeah, but
I don't know. I mean, they're still 4-2.
But you know what I'm
still
saying,
very
right.
much in the hunt. No, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
And nobody was wishing for him to play poorly or anything.
Except Dak.
Right, except Dak privately.
Hook him up to a truth,
privately.
a lie detector.
Have a bad game, throw 3 picks, all right? That'll be great. And then everybody will want me back.
Right. It's totally Rob. It erased.
Right. Everything he did got erased in one game. Are you ready for prime time? Chris, he could have played well or decent, and they still could have lost. And you go like, well, he played pretty well. So the defense gave it up, or something happened here, or whatever. And that wasn't the case. He had 3 picks, and he didn't play well. And we talked about this, and I'm not surprised. Because what do we talk about? Chris, he's not doing that much. Let's be honest. They were winning, but he wasn't doing that much.
And Kellen Moore credit.
Yes.
They knew what to do. They went vanilla. They went basic.
No sprinkles.
Yep, that's right. And it worked. And here's the only thing I'll say, though, Rob, because, we agreed that it's no controversy. Dak should be the starter when he's able to come back. But I thought what Cooper did, Rob, was he played well enough, and obviously they kept winning, where, Dak could really get fully healthy, or at least, as fully healthy as you need to be able to play fairly well. And so they benefited from that. But here's what I'll say. Well, let me couch it a few ways. If Cooper had come out and played a really good game, like a great game, 280 yards, 300 yards passing, whatever, and they win. Or even if he had just, Rob, led a comeback last night. Because remember, they were down big, and then he got them within 3, not just him, but they got within 3
right.
early in the 4th. So had he been able, maybe makes a big
if they came back from where they were down last night, Chris, and won that game, are you kidding? Then there would have been talk.
Well, so had he done that, Rob, I still think, Dak would have started against Detroit. But had Dak had a bad game, had they lost to Detroit, then there would have been a lot of talk about go back to Cooper, right? And I think Dak would not have been able to have a few bad games without people starting, well, we did go 4-1 without, or at this case, it would have been 5-0 with Cooper. But I'll say this. So I think that ends. But I will say this, though, Rob. If they lose to Detroit, and I think this is unrealistic, but if they lose to Detroit and Chicago, and Dak doesn't play well, like maybe some people might say, well, the finger's still bothering him or whatever, but he doesn't play well, and they lose those 2 games. I do think fans will, not all, but some fans, a good number, a significant number, will clamor for Cooper. Do you disagree?
I disagree. I think the Cooper story's over. I think that last night...
They call them fanatics.
I get it. That's where fan is derived from, Chris. But I do believe, last night was his moment. That was his chance, Chris, to really sway people because of what it represented. The Eagles were undefeated, on the road. Everybody wrote the Cowboys off. If he played a great game or engineered this unbelievable comeback. They were down big in that game. People would go like, hey, the real deal. But yesterday, Chris, as you have been saying for weeks, that he's going to turn into a pumpkin, he turned into a pumpkin. It was the big pumpkin. And I think a lot of Cowboy fans cooled on him last night.
I tend to agree, but Detroit and Chicago.
I get who they're playing.
Your nemesis, Dan Campbell.
Yeah, okay. Dan wins that one. Where's that game? Is it in Detroit?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Because they still haven't won a road game since in the Dan Campbell era. I don't know where that game is.
No, it's in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's in Dallas. There you go. You lose
at home to Detroit.
A home game, Detroit's first road win under Dan Campbell. 2 years,
yeah.
And Chicago's at home too. I mean, Rob, honestly, the schedule's worked out perfectly for Dak.
Right. It is. It's the greatest scenario.
Coming home, yeah. And they got the Packers after that. We'll see if they're playing well.
We don't know by then, yeah, right.
But, he's coming against a couple bad teams at home. They should definitely win these next. And I think they will. I think, Rob, I just think what they need to do is not be as vanilla as they have been. Ratchet it up a little. You can do more, obviously, with Dak. But still, the formula of great defense, a big run game. I thought Zeke, Rob, looked better than I've seen him in a long time.
Yeah, he had a little pep in his step.
Yeah,
I did towards the sidelines, Chris. You know what I mean? Like,
you mean when he ran that touchdown?
Yeah.
When he had to outrun those guys. So
yeah, that was a turn back the clock.
Yep. So I just think they need to stick with that formula and not try. You don't need Dak to throw for 350 yards. If he does, God bless him. But to me, that doesn't need to be like the way we win.
The game plan, right?
So I'll say this, Rob. Look, Philadelphia, I do think they're for real. In this conference of weaklings, they're for real. But I think when Dallas gets Dak back, they should be able to beat Philadelphia. Both defenses are tremendous. I know they went at Micah Parsons yesterday. He had some moments, but they went at him, and they did a good job.
They did. He looked mortal yesterday.
Yeah, they went at him. But they'll adjust. Dan Quinn is about as good as it gets on that side of the ball. And I think they'll adjust for the second game when they play him again. And if Dak plays last night, Rob, like I said, they were within 3 early in the fourth quarter. That game was in doubt. If Philly doesn't score that late touchdown, who knows what happened? And on Cooper's third pick, Rob, now I don't know that it was even his fault because he was under duress and, pressured as he was throwing, so he kind of had to throw off his back foot or something. But if Dak's playing, maybe Dak can make that throw. And because, I think it was Lamb was wide open, whoever it was, and it just was a bad ball, terribly underthrown. So I think that Dallas, when they get right, I don't really trust them because how can I, right? It's been a quarter of a century of them not being trustworthy. But I just think, Rob, potentially, if Dak can come back and be good and make some plays, then I think they could be able to beat Philly.
Yeah, I mean, they were right there with 3 interceptions and a poor performance by Cooper Rush. So I'm with you on that. But I think the Cooper Rush story's over. I just do. I think unless there's an injury, but I think even Jerry, after watching last night, I don't know what he would be going around, banging the drum for Cooper Rush. I think that would be weird.
No, I think, look, the players and the coaches know. If they lose a couple games, I don't think they'll be clamoring for Cooper. But fans, fanatics,
well,
yeah,